Today's episode of Variant is brought to you by Carbonite.
Today on Variant, I'm giving you guys the history of this guy, Deadpool. Welcome to Variant, where we love comics more than Deadpool loves chimichangas. I'm your host, Arris. Deadpool is by far one of the most requested History of episodes for me to do, which I can't blame you guys because he's freaking awesome. So, without further ado, let's get into the Merc with a Mouse history. Deadpool was created by artist Rob Liefeld and writer Fabian Nicieza and made his first appearance in New Mutants issue 98 in February of 1991. Rob Liefeld was a fan of the Teen Titan comics and apparently a fan of drawing busty Captain Americas. Sorry, I had to. You're a good artist, Rob. What were you thinking? Anyway, Mr. Liefeld showed his new character to then writer Fabian Nicieza. When Fabian saw the costume design and heard what the characteristics were, being a killer, having super agility, Fabian said to Liefeld, "This is pretty much just Deathstroke from the Teen Titans." So Fabian gave Deadpool the real name of Wade Wilson as an inside joke, as Deathstroke's real name is Slade Wilson, which is pretty hilarious if you ask me. I love how they owned it and were pretty much just shameless about it. In Deadpool's first appearance, he was hired by Tolliver to attack Cable and the New Mutants, after subsequently appearing in X-Force as a reoccurring character. Deadpool began making guest appearances in a number of different Marvel comics such as Avengers, Daredevil, and Heroes for Hire. In 1993, the Deadpool received his own miniseries titled The Circle Chase, written by Fabian Nicieza and penciled by Joe Madureira. It was a relative success, and Deadpool starred in a second self-titled miniseries written in 1994 by Mark Waid. Then in 1997, Deadpool was finally given his own ongoing title, initially written by Joe Kelly, with newcomer artist at the time, Ed McGuinness, who was actually one of my all-time favorite comic artists. The series established Deadpool's supporting cast, including his prisoner-slash-mother figure, Blind Al, and Weasel, who's a friend, information broker, and arms dealer for Deadpool. As for Deadpool's origin, I already gave it to you guys in the Deadpool vs. Nightwing episode, but since today is all about Deadpool, I'm gonna give it to you guys one more time. Do you guys mind? No. Wait. One of you said yeah. Oh well, I'm gonna give it to you guys anyway. His real name, like I said a bit ago, is Wade Wilson. He was born a normal person to a highly dysfunctional family in a little town of Ohio. He ran away as a teenager and bounced around the country, all the while getting military training from various sources. He was eventually diagnosed with an incurable cancer, at which point, in hoping to cure himself, he volunteered for a subset of the Weapon X program that was attempting to give a human Wolverine's healing factor. The experiment ended up accelerating his cancer, leaving his whole body horribly disfigured, making his skin look very similar to Freddy Krueger. He also became severely mentally unbalanced. Thinking he was a failed experiment, the facility sent him to a hospice with other failed experiments from the program. While there, the other prisoners would take a pool called a dead pool as to how long each subject would live. Wade was eventually sentenced to death after breaking hospice rules by killing his friend Worm, who he only killed out of kindness to put him out of his misery, as he was just lobotomized. So they tried to kill Wade by taking his heart out, but his newfound healing powers kicked in. He then escaped and ironically chose to call himself Deadpool. Now, I've said it before, Deadpool is pretty much the perfect mixture of the Punisher and Spider-Man, as he's an anti-hero and doesn't mind killing just like the Punisher, and is always wisecracking and joking around just like Spider-Man, but even more so than Spider-Man, which is how he got his nickname, the Merc with a Mouth, because he doesn't shut up, especially while fighting someone. He's also a master of breaking the fourth wall, always talking to us readers. Deadpool is self-aware he's in a comic book, as he's always saying stuff like, "Warning, this scene does not take place in a comic," or one of my favorites from this panel where he says, "None of this is really happening. There's a man at a typewriter. This is all his twisted imagination," which is what many of us fans have come to love about him, how he's hilarious all while being a bamf. As for Deadpool's powers and abilities, he has an accelerated healing factor just like Wolverine, which is actually probably better than Wolverine, so he can regenerate any destroyed tissue at a superhuman rate, so any gunshot, stab wound, or his intestines falling out would just heal. Even his head getting chopped off would heal as long as his head is reunited with his body. He is also immune to any and all known diseases. Besides being invulnerable to basically all types of physical harm due to his healing factor, he can also teleport using tech from his friend Weasel, and is one of the best assassins and mercenaries in all of comic books. I mean, he killed the entire Marvel Universe, even though the story wasn't canon, it was more of a what-if story, and out of Marvel's main continuity, it was still an awesome story. What's funny though, is people always use the Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe story as an argument that he can defeat anyone, which isn't necessarily true. For example, Deadpool was actually defeated by Moon Knight in Vengeance of Moon Knight issue 8. Obviously, he didn't die because he pretty much can't, but nonetheless, he lost the fight. So, what I'm trying to say is there are characters out there who can and have beaten him before. It's just extremely hard as he's one of the toughest and hardest to defeat characters in all of comics. But Deadpool isn't all about fighting, smart remarks, guns, and things that go bang. Who am I kidding? Yeah, he is. But he does have a romantic side to him. Deadpool formed a romantic relationship with the cosmic entity Death, who regarded him as a kindred spirit. Deadpool is depicted having a humorous exchange with the entity in the self-titled annual Deadpool and Death. Deadpool becomes infatuated with Death after he has a number of near-death experiences and starts trying to kill himself to join Death. Flash forward a little ways during the Funeral for a Freak storyline, Death appears to reciprocate the feeling, but a jealous Thanos prevents Deadpool from dying and joining the entity and curses Deadpool with immortality. So yeah, Deadpool is in love with Death. Literally. But let's not forget what Deadpool is most in love with, and that would be Mexican food, or more precisely, chimichangas, which who can blame him? Chimichangas and Mexican food is amazing. Deadpool also actually has a Deadpool family who all originated from an alternate reality, and not the main Marvel reality, Earth 616. You have Ladypool, or Wanda Wilson, from Earth 3010, who out of a need to belong and feel wanted, she joined the side of a group called the Rebels, fighting against loyalists in the United States. There's Kidpool, or Little Wade Wilson, who was born on Earth 10330, an alternate reality where he was the newest boy accepted into the Xavier Orphanage for troubled boys. There's also a Deadpool dog called, you guessed it, Dogpool, who was created on Earth 103-173 in a process similar to the Weapon X program. And finally, you have Headpool, who's from Earth 2149, another universe where all the Marvel heroes were transformed into zombies. Headpool did once have a body, but he lost it in battle. Eventually, though, all the Deadpools from different universes would unite and form the Deadpool Corps, or Deadpool Corps, whatever you prefer. And where's their base of operations, you ask? It's not Avengers Tower, not a Batcave, not even the Hall of Justice, but it is Deadpool's apartment. But now that I've given you guys a good amount of info on Deadpool, it's time to give you some good Deadpool stories to read. There's Deadpool Classic Volumes 1, 2, and 3, Wade Wilson's War, Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe trade paperback, Deadpool Volume 1, Dead Presidents, Deadpool and Death Annual 1998, any of the Deadpool and Cable Ultimate collections like books 1, 2, and 3, and of course there are many more good Deadpool stories, but that should be enough to get you guys started. Carbonite protects your pictures and your files from a computer crash, fire theft, or when you accidentally delete a file by automatically and continually backing up your files and keeping them securely offsite. You'll never have to remember to back up again. Whether you have 1 or 2 computers at home or several computers at your small business, Carbonite is the better backup plan. Over 1 million customers trust Carbonite to protect their home and small business computer files with plans starting at just $59 a year. Start your free trial at Carbonite.com with the offer code VARIANT, and you'll get 2 bonus months if you decide to buy. That's Carbonite.com, and the offer code for 2 bonus months is VARIANT. First up for Wednesday, September 4th, we have Superior Spider-Man issue 17. He's back once again. This issue is the return of the fan favorite Spider-Man 2099. Next, we have Infinity issue 2. The Inhumans pay tribute, Victory in Deep Space, and the Secrets of Thanos all in this issue. Next, we have Detective Comics 23.1 Poison Ivy. For too long, Poison Ivy has played with men's hearts and been a pawn in their games too, but no more. Now that Batman is gone, she will grow into a force of nature unlike anything Gotham City has seen before. Here we have Batman and Robin issue 23.1 Two-Face. Two-Face's approach to join the secret society, which side will his coin land on? Next we have Batman 23.1 The Joker. The Joker has forever been the face of evil in the DC universe, but what led him to this devious path of treachery? And finally, we have Forever Evil issue 1. The first universe-wide event of the New 52 begins as Forever Evil launches. The Justice League is now dead, so the villains inherit the Earth. An epic tale of the world's greatest supervillains starts here. And friends, that brings another episode of Variant to a close. But you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Arris_Quinones, or you can follow us on our Variant Facebook page to keep up with the show and all things comic related. But I'll see you guys next week when I talk about all things comics. We're on the same page here. Being a killer, having super agility, Fabian said to dang it.